Get up.
No, I'm not gonna. No, I'm not gonna do.
Melissa, I come home from work. The house is all dirty. What do you do all day?
I've been working.
Working?
Just because you go into work and I work off of my computer doesn't mean anything.
Working? It looks like you haven't been working because the house is all dirty. The dishes are still out. How about you go clean them? Because it's
dishes?
your job.
Those are your dishes.
I don't care. It's your job.
It's not my job. I'm
You
your
are
wife.
the woman.
Ever since we've gotten married, why have you started acting like this?
You are the woman. It's your job. You know what? You know what? I'm gonna go find another woman. All right?
Go
It
ahead.
doesn't even matter.
Go ahead.
The
I
woman
don't
that
care.
actually does her
I'd rather
job.
be with someone that does 50-50 and doesn't think the
I'll actually
women.
go get someone that does her job.
Okay,
in the
good.
house.
You go find someone. Good,
Like,
good
cleans
luck.
the house
Good
and
luck
does the
finding
dishes.
someone that's gonna put up with your bull.
It's not bull. Now get up. I'll make you do the dishes.
No,
How
you're
about
not
that?
making me do anything.
How about you get up
away
and
from
go
me,
get
Tom.
the dishes?
Don't touch me.
Get up.
No,
and
I'm not gonna.
go do
No,
the
I'm not gonna do
dishes.
anything. Back away from me. I'm
It's your
serious.
job.
It's not my job.
Then get out of my house.
Okay, I will.
All right, so there's this video where this lady, she's been married for 7 years and literally she's crying, regretting, and she says she has no savings, she has no house, she's been thrown out, and she's starting from scratch. That is the question. So let's watch this video and we are going to discuss this more.
So I wanted to share with you guys a story of when I was a recruiter. And I'm only telling you guys this because I saw a video that I couldn't stitch. About this girl talking about being a stay-at-home mom and how she would never be a stay-at-home mom again because she had like a failed relationship where, you know, she was given everything and everything was taken from her. So this reminded me of this. When I was a recruiter, I worked for a staffing agency, and you know, I had people come in and apply all the time. And this lady came in one day looking for a job. This lady was beautiful. She's very pretty. She was older. She was maybe like late 50s, early 60s, but she was a beautiful lady. She dressed very well. She had designer stuff. You know, she was very pretty. And you know, when I saw her, my first assumption was, oh, she's probably looking for like an office job. You know, I just assumed that that's what she was looking for. And you know, when it was time for me to interview her, I asked her like, oh, you know, what kind of experience do you have? She told me, I've never had a job. Never had a job. I have no experience. She's like, I've been a mom, stay-at-home mom, like, but I need to work. So I was like, oh, okay, like, let me see how I can help you. Start asking her more questions, blah, blah, blah. So this lady, as I'm talking to her, she seemed so uncomfortable, so ashamed, so embarrassed. And I felt bad because I was like, what's wrong with her, you know? And she just seemed like she needed to talk. And I asked her, are you okay? And she just lets it all out. She's like, I never worked because I was a stay-at-home mom. I have 2 kids. My husband made me good money. My husband treated me like a queen. I never did anything. And my husband left me. She says, my husband left me for someone younger. So she starts telling me that her and her husband knew each other from Mexico, that he, you know, was after her for years, that they knew each other since they were in middle school, high school. She says that he's not attractive, that he's actually very ugly, like in her words, that she thought he was not attractive. But eventually, you know, he won her over. He went to college, had a good career. She stopped going to school because they got engaged. She got married. She got pregnant. She supported him to do all his stuff. He had a really good job. I think she told me he was like an engineer, I think. And, you know, she just trusted him. Like, she was set. She thought she was set. She says that she only had 2 kids. Her oldest son was like almost 30. And her youngest was like in his early 20s. And they were both, you know, had left home already. And she says that she just never thought that, you know, her and her husband were ever going to get separated. That he treated her like a fucking queen. She says until he started talking about building a home in Mexico, that they had already bought like a ranch over there, but they hadn't built anything. So he started like pushing for them to start building. So he convinced her to sell their home because their kids were gone. Like he was always out. Like, I guess he would go out a lot on business trips, like work trips. And she says that, you know, she trusted him, so she just did everything that he said. She says that she had no idea how much money they had. She had a credit card, and I would say she didn't have access to bank accounts. She didn't know anything. She just trusted him with everything. He paid everything. And she says that that, you know, they sold their home. They moved into a small apartment, temporary, because they were going to go to Mexico. They started selling their cars, their boats, their jet skis, quads. She says they had all this stuff. They started selling everything. And he was telling them, I'm sending everything to Mexico to build this home. So she believed them. She says that he left for a business trip, and I guess he was gone longer than normal, and it was like 2 weeks. And she says that in that 2 weeks, she didn't hear from him, and she got served with divorce papers. She says before he left on this trip, everything was fine. Like, super happy. He was super the same like always. So she was fucking confused. She says that, you know, she tried reaching out to him. He just ignored her completely. Left her with a small chunk of money, and that was it. She says that she didn't know anything about divorce, so she didn't get prepared. She didn't get a lawyer. She didn't, you know, get anything. She said she was ashamed to tell her family. She didn't tell no one. She went through it alone. And long story short, she got nothing. She says that she did get, I guess, a small amount of alimony, but she said it's very little. And she says that all their assets were gone, so she didn't get anything. That she says she did bring up the Mexico situation, but I guess he had sent everything to the sister. So the things were under his sister's name. I don't know what he did, but he screwed her over. And she later found out, once their divorce was final, that he was with this younger girl. And I guess they had been together the whole time. They had been together for like years before he filed for divorce. And she had no idea. And this girl was early, like 30s, I think she said. She was younger. She had no kids, you know, blah, blah, blah. And this man is out there in Mexico living his best life with his new wife. And I guess she's pregnant. A whole drama. So this lady's like, I gave up my fucking life. I gave up my career. I wanted to go to school. I wanted to do all these things. And he would always tell me, I got you. Don't worry. You stay at home. Focus on being a mom. Like, don't stress about anything. I got you. I got you. Treated her like a queen. Bought her all these things. Had her set. And boom. Just like that. He left her. So she's like, I can't survive off alimony. She's like, my sons, you know, they already have someone. I guess her older son was already married, and they live somewhere far. And she talked about her moving in with them, and his wife wasn't very happy about it. So, you know, they ended up not doing it. Her younger son was like, I guess, in and out of college, so he wasn't able to help her. So she said she was renting a room with an old friend and getting by, and she says that she has nothing, and that's why she needed a job. So I ended up sending her somewhere. I forgot where I sent her to work, and she ended up doing really good there. And I think she's still there. Like, she ended up doing really good with that. But it made me realize how some of us sometimes are so naive when it comes to life. Like, we forget how people are so deceiving, and people will switch up on you like nothing. Your own kids, your own partner, your own freaking parents be doing crazy shit. So now imagine you're a partner, someone that's nothing to you. You think they're not gonna switch up on you? My grandma used to always tell me, si vas a trabajar, save money. If you're gonna work, save money. Have your little stash, make your own little, always work on you, because you never know. And it's true. I'm married, happily married, and, you know, but I always have that in the back of my mind. Not just that what if he does some shit like that, but what if he dies? Like, what if something happens where I have no one? I can't live my life depending on one person. And this is nothing against stay-at-home moms, okay? Because I know a lot of stay-at-home moms that have a lot of shit going for themselves. Like, they work on themselves. They have careers. They still have their own goals and aspirations, but they just, you know, focus on being at home, which is fine. But you always have to remember that no one owes you shit. Not even your partner. Your partner could get up and leave you like nothing. And what I thought was the most fucked up part was that she said, she's like, I was so pretty for him. He was ugly. I never thought he would do that to me, because he was not it. You know, he was a good man, but he was not attractive like that. So sometimes people think, oh, I'm the catch, like he's never gonna leave me, like what else is he gonna do? Trust me, there's always someone that would treat your partner better than you. That's just how it is. So for you to think that you're irreplaceable, you're fucking stupid, because that's not how life is. Like, anybody's replaceable. So yeah, just want to share with you guys that story to, you know, just give you guys a different perspective. Again, this is nothing against stay-at-home moms or anybody that doesn't work, you know, to each their own. But just want to share this with you guys so you guys could see the kind of shit that happens out there.
Yo, that stay-at-home mom that's getting a divorce after being married for 7 years. She said this happened all of a sudden, and what sucks is that she has no money. All the credit cards that she uses are under her husband's name. She's not on the deed or the title for the home. She doesn't own any of the cars that she drives because, again, it's under her husband's name, and she has a 7-year gap in her resume. Everyone is saying in the comments too that you can get custody of your kids still, you can get alimony, you can get child support. Let's think about that. She was married for 7 years, which is by law considered a short marriage. And all of that is determined by a case-by-case scenario. The dad is the provider. The dad is the homeowner. And the dad has means of transportation to get the kids anywhere they need to in case of an emergency. The mom doesn't have any record of that. What would the courts favor? And I'm not taking sides, I'm just being transparent. And even if she got alimony, I guarantee you it wouldn't be that much, and it wouldn't be for a long time, because she is a young, able-bodied woman. And that is something they also take into consideration when they make those types of decisions in the court. I fully support stay-at-home parents. I think it's one of the most selfless things that you can ever do is raise a family. And this is just a tragic situation. Honestly, be so for real.
I stayed at home for 13 years. I don't have a lot of regrets about that because I was taking care of my 2 kids, taking care of my home. My husband's in the military. I feel proud of the work that I did, raising my kids and taking care of my home. But gosh, I have so much regret right now. I have so much regret that I stayed home. I'm in a hole right now that I'm trying to dig myself out of. And I just think to myself, I never should have trusted this person with financially, mentally, emotionally. I should not have put my life in this person's hand. Most days I try to be positive about the changes that are going on in my life, especially through this divorce process. I'm gonna have good days and bad days, and like a few days I've had good days. I felt really hopeful, confident in what I'm doing. This is the best thing for me. But today is such a bad day, and I just feel like an idiot. I just feel like a complete and total idiot. Like, why did I think it was a good idea to just completely financially, mentally, and emotionally just depend on this person? Especially when there was so much evidence, when there were so many indicators that I couldn't depend on this person. And I just kept doing it for years. I'm trying really hard to dig myself out of it, but gosh, it's really hard. I just feel so much freaking regret. I'm like, why was I so dumb? I never should have trusted him. I never should have trusted him. I should have been more independent. Even if I was married, I should have gone to school. I should have gotten a degree. I should have got a job. I should have done more. And I just sat on my ass and I depended on him. You know, maybe I sound bitter or cynical, but just don't stay at home. Don't stay at home. Don't depend on a man financially. Don't think, oh, he wants to be a provider. He takes care of us. No, don't do it. Just don't. Don't do it.
If you are a woman who is married, please have a job. I promise you, you do not want to be job searching when you're going through a separation. Yes, I'm sure you can get half, or you can get spousal support or child support eventually. I know this can resonate with everybody. I know some people are going to be like, my man would never. Up until 2 weeks ago, I thought my man would never too, so heed my warning.
One random Saturday, 24 years into our marriage, After spending a beautiful day together with our family, me and my husband fell asleep in our bed. Just after midnight, I woke up and had to pee. We were all tangled up together in the sheets. My head was tucked under his chin and his beard was kind of tickling my forehead. I went to the bathroom, and on my way back to bed, I grabbed his phone just to take a peek. We had been through some stuff a couple years before, and I just wanted to make sure that everything was still okay. Nothing was okay. And within 24 hours, our 24-year marriage would be over. I felt like I had been hit by a train. I hadn't even seen it coming. My husband abandoned our family for a 19-year-old. He moved out, eventually moved in with one of the many women he was cheating on me with towards the end of our marriage, and started vacationing all over the country and really living his best life. I, meanwhile, had been a Mormon stay-at-home trad wife for 24 years. 3 days after the end of our marriage, I couldn't buy myself a $43 bag of groceries at Trader Joe's. Within a few months, I would be sleeping in my car, and me and my kids would all be classified as homeless. Our marriage ended in October. The very first time I would receive any emergency orders through the court was May. I lost everything, and me and my kids are still not financially okay today. There's a word for women like me. It's displaced homemaker. And the sad fact is, there's really no safety net for a stay-at-home mom going through divorce. If I had had a job and an employer had fired me, I would have been eligible for unemployment, possibly welfare. Perhaps my employer would have given me a severance package, and I would have job skills that I could take out into the real world. My only job skill was being a wife and a mom. So unless I found another husband to take care of me, I was screwed. I've had friends over the years who've gone through divorces who had careers. And while the divorce is heartbreaking, because breaking up is always hard, they didn't lose the ability to have a home. They didn't lose their cars. They didn't lose the ability to buy groceries. I did. As a displaced homemaker, I lost everything. And I lost everything for one simple reason. I thought that I could defy the odds. I'm going to throw myself into having the best marriage and being the best wife, and that will never happen to me. I don't need a college education. I don't need any type of work skills. I don't need a career. Ladies, a man is not a plan. Never has been. Never should be. He can be your friend, your boyfriend, your fiance, your husband, your lover, but he is not your financial plan. Get a job. End of story.
Is being a stay-at-home mom a privilege or a sacrifice? In my opinion, it's both. I was having a conversation with my ex last night, and he was just so stuck on the fact that he had given me this amazing privilege to do nothing, to just be a stay-at-home mom and to not work. And I don't see it that way. Yes, I see it as a privilege because most people in this society, they don't have that option. And I appreciate the fact that he was financially stable enough to let me do that. I genuinely do appreciate it. But it pisses me off when he says that it's a privilege and not acknowledge the sacrifice that it was. When you're a stay-at-home mom, it's a 24/7 job. You don't get any switching of tasks. You're doing the same thing from the time you open your eyes to the time you close them. And not only that, but I had a career and I stepped away from it. So during that time, I had forgone a lot of my income, a lot of the progress that I could have made towards some career goals.
Oh, I am flabbergasted. So if you guys haven't seen the video of the woman talking about how she's a stay-at-home mom and her husband decided to proceed forward with the divorce. Her name's not on the house. Her name's not on the car. She's scared right now. So I'm like, oh, that's sad, you know, but they'll be able to see that she's been a stay-at-home mom for a decade, and she'll be able to get child support and alimony. You know, she's still taking a loss. It's still hurtful, but she'll be able to get that. There's a comment in there where she said she signed a prenup where she waived all assets and alimony. Oh my God. And that's what she said. She said she signed that prenup that waived all assets and alimony. I do believe that it's okay to get a prenup if that's what y'all want as a couple. I just don't understand if you know you're signing you signed a prenup. How did he talk her into being a stay-at-home mom? How do you live like that? Oh, I feel so bad for her.
It was around this time, about 3 years ago, that I decided to leave my husband, and I'm gonna tell you why it's prime time. I went and got a serving job the beginning of October. In October, November, and December, I made over $5,000 working about 4 shifts a week. Now, I live in Franklin, Tennessee. It's a suburb of Nashville, if you're not familiar. I worked about 4 shifts, sometimes even 3 in a week. I made such good money. It's the holidays, guys. People are busy, and there is so much money to be made. I had no money saved up for an apartment or for bills, and that was how I was able to actually leave and go on my own with no child support, no alimony, and support my daughter and I. I will say that my ex-husband, or my husband at the time, did watch our daughter while I was at work, but it's prime time.
He decided to wait until we'd been together 7 years, until I moved across the...
My heart breaks for this girl, but I have to keep it real. First red flag, being together 7 years, no ring, no real commitment. Second red flag, living for him and not yourself. Third red flag, doing wife duties at girlfriend prices. Fourth red flag, moved at the drop of a hat. Fifth red flag, being shocked when he left you. Sixth red flag, you missed every single red flag. Men typically know within the first 2 to 3 months whether or not they're going to marry you. Do not be fooled.
What advice would you give your younger self?
To never marry. I think that I could have done all the things that I have done without a man. When my 2 husbands and my father all died within 3 months. And I found myself Betty, because I was no longer Betty Charbonnet, no longer Betty Reed. I was no longer defined by someone else's name.
Also, I just want to open up space for you to say anything to the audience or to the camera, anything on your mind.
Picture this. You are doing well, you're okay, you have your own career, and you are having these goals and you have these dreams that you want to achieve. Then you fall in love with this guy and you decide to get married. Then when you're married, this man tells you, oh babe, you know what, I love you so much, I just want you to be a stay-at-home mom, I'll be the provider, you'll be taking care of the home and you'll be taking care of our kids. Now fast forward 7 years down the line, the man has told you, hey, I don't love you anymore, I want a divorce. Yes, I want a divorce. And remember, you've been a stay-at-home mom for 7 years, no job. The car, you have none, no insurance, no savings. You have children, and yes, you are being thrown out of your own home because the name of the title deed, it doesn't belong to you. Yes. So this lady has found herself in that situation and she's regretting bitterly. She's recording herself crying and saying she wishes she could turn back her time and change the decision that she made. But the reality is life, the choice we make, we have to bear the consequences. So most of the ladies find themselves in such situation. If you go on the comment section, you find people say, hey, I find myself in such situation, don't give up, go on, and one day, one time, things will work out for you as long as you don't give up on yourself. And many ladies are saying the same thing over and over and again. So one thing I've come when I look at this video is women need to look after themselves, because men usually look after themselves. Men usually take care of themselves in terms of financially, in terms of physically, in terms of mentally. Men are usually selfish and they look after themselves. For us women, we are known as naturally we are nurturing, we are loving, we like to take care of our family. And yes, when I say of our family, I mean plus the husband. We like to take care of them, and sometimes we end up forgetting ourselves in the process. And in the process, we end up getting the short end of the stick, like this lady. So yes, she did take care of the family. She did take care of her children. She made sure everything is okay. But 7 years down the line, she realized, oh my God, she is on her own. She's been left out, and the man has decided to divorce her with nothing. With nothing. So now she has to start from scratch. And she's crying and she's saying, this is not what I signed up for. And starting over is not easy. After divorce, starting over is not easy because you are literally starting with nothing, maybe more likely with no job, with no money. And then now, here you're faced in a situation where you have children who are depending on you, and maybe you have a difficult husband who's not giving child support. So, and the society is judging you, and emotionally, you're not ready, physically, you're not ready, mentally, you're not ready. So, you're dealing with all things at the same time. It's not easy. But most women who have gone through divorce, they usually say, hey, it's not easy. But if you persevere, if you face the difficulties, the obstacle head on, in the long run, you're going to achieve a success. Some people end up not recovering completely when it comes to finances because the kind of life you used to have before is not the same life you're starting over with. That's the reality. But anyway, one thing I will tell you, all women who are going through this such situation, is don't give up. Start a business or start a side house or look for a job. At the end of the day, as long as you work hard, as long as you work every day, facing it head on, asking God to help you, and of course looking for ways to earn money, because when you have finances in your favor, a lot of things end up working your own way, because at the end of the day, childcare is expensive, school is expensive, buying clothes is expensive, buying groceries is expensive, having to pay rent is expensive, or buying a house is expensive. I mean, we need money in order to survive. That's the reality. We need money in order to be able to afford the daily necessities of life, in order to be okay in our society. We need money. So if you have a way of earning money, then things are going to be okay eventually. So let me know what you think about this video, and please subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to tell me what are your thoughts.